Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you for joining me again. Good morning. It's Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. Starting off with our favorite risk indicator, the MMRI, showing increasing risk at 265 right now. So there's a couple of things to go into this. We've got stocks right now are in the green as they're continuing from yesterday, and the futures in agreement. However, we've got the relative strength of the dollar and the 10-year yield are both beginning to rise. So this should put pressure on the stock market today, at least for a bit, to get a little bit of consolidation. So this is actually still bullish, even if stocks pull back a bit, because it's kind of gaining some ground. So going into what's behind this, the sentiment right now is still in greed. So even with the risk rising, as we can see here, we've got the fear and greed index remaining in that strong greed zone, and the Dow is still very strongly in the green. So we'll go over a couple of other things with this. Today in our calendar and the earnings, basically we're looking at the 2-year note auction and then crude oil stocks. So these are not major market movers, I don't think. We do have oil is starting to go up a little bit. We had more news on this, which we'll also cover. So tomorrow morning, wanted to bring this up. We've got the PMI coming in, and that will be important. So wanted to bring this up. They are talking about a couple of big economic reports this week. This is mainly Austin Goolsbee, he's Fed president from Chicago, and talking about how they keep talking about how they're data dependent and that's going to determine their policy. It's not, because the numbers are skewed, and it doesn't matter when the numbers come out, it's always what they say that makes the major move in the markets. So he's talking about how it's not so much about the secret meetings or decisions they make. Well, it is, because what they say means more than what the actual numbers are. So we've got Bank of Japan. We've been watching them. They're signaling hitting their inflation goals. So basically, they've been talking about raising their rates. So they've been floating it, and their currency has weakened. So we'll watch what they're doing, but they're saying they're not doing anything at the moment. They're holding. We've also got European Central Bank talking about their credit demand bottoming out. So they are also holding. They're looking at Thursday, but it's kind of forward that they're not going to change any of their rates or their moves. And as we've talked about this before, the central banks kind of have to move together. It's kind of given now the chances of the United States hiking at this first meeting has dropped tremendously. I don't think they're going to hike right away, but that's my personal opinion. So moving forward into the markets, we've got in China's stock market, they took a tumble yesterday, and they're talking about how the derivatives caused snowball avalanche. So these derivatives are really the instruments, the debt market that they're talking about. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the leverage in the United States market is multitudes larger. It is exponentially larger. So when they watch their stocks tumble like this, the United States can move even faster. So I just want to warn you coming into this. So they're talking about kind of basically putting this package together. Basically, they're doing more monetary easing. So $278 billion worth that they're going to pour into to keep their stock market propped up. So we're getting a lot of kind of bullish sentiment with all this greed factor and buying in, going in right now. And I'm going to kind of put some forward on that case. I know I've been quite a bit on the opposite side. So more in the other central banks, we've got India topping Hong Kong as the world's fourth largest stock market. So we've been talking about India up and coming, and now they're coming with their exchanges. They've beat out Hong Kong now. So before we get too bullish, we've got Alphabet, which is also a parent of Google, talking about laying off dozens of workers in their secretive X division. So this is going to be, like all of the looking forward, higher for longer, all of these cute key terms they come out with. The new one for businesses and laying off is quote unquote cost efficiency. So we can look forward to hearing that term quite a bit more. So we've got Tencent. This is a hugely popular game called League of Legends, and they're talking about they're laying off 530 of their staff. So we're showing weakness across multiple sectors. This is another one that would be in consumer discretionary, of course, because it is in gaming. However, that's kind of one of the last ones that would go on that side. So talking about a crypto crash also, that Bitcoin dropped below 40,000. This is after the announcement of the ETF. I'm showing it's got some support more at around 38,000 probably, so it's got a little more room to go down. However, when it hits those levels, I will be averaging a little more in. So, anyway, not financial advice, just what I'm doing because I happen to like Bitcoin. And you don't have to if you don't want to. You can disagree. That's perfectly fine. So, in the news on crude, specifically for Russia, Russia had one of their ships hit by storms, and they say a Baltic drone strike was Ukraine, bombed one of their oil shipments. But Russia is a liquid natural gas exporter, and they're one of the larger ones. They're talking about raising their long term prices to Asia, but really who they are providing for is Europe. So raising their prices is going to really squeeze Western countries in Europe. So back to our bullish case, we've got consumer spending behind Fannie Mae's. They're changing their views on recession, talking about the mortgage rates dropping and that they're expecting more buyers to come into the housing market. That will remain to be seen. I think we're going to have a bit of a rush into the housing market for a little bit, and then it's going to drop off rapidly. So we'll see how that comes out. Uh, and we've also got others saying that there is no economic collapse. This top city strategist says that healthier economic growth is coming. Kind of has to. We're pretty anemic with our growth at the moment. I would like to see more economic growth out of the United States specifically, aside from the war machines and those types of defense being the spending. So, airlines heavily in the news now in multiple forms. We've got Southwest Airlines pilots, they made a deal, so they'll be making higher wages. This, every time you see something like this, is inflationary. So they need to see, the Federal Reserve wants to see more job cuts prior to them doing these rate hikes. Not only that, and stopping spending because that is what will bring down the inflation that they're talking about. So there's still got to be more job losses before they quit. We've also got United Airlines. They came out with earnings and they are in the positive despite everything going on. They had strong holiday season. So we had, as we were talking about the Boeing stock, sold off. They are having new inspections, more problems they were finding out about. As I was saying, my number for Boeing personally is right around the 200 level where it's showing quite a bit of support. This company is not going to go out of business anytime soon. They are also a defense stock. They provide a lot of the machinery for the wars. And then with this also we're watching General Electric. So GE does make a lot of the bearings, engine parts, and services for aircraft machinery, always have. So this is hugely positive for them as well. So I've got just a couple of love updates I would like to bring forward to you. And this one in particular, thank you so much, Shannon. This is an all out war. So, Swiss banker at the World Economic Forum, he's talking about the coffee that we all drink emits carbon dioxide. So, he's talking about how this is terrible for the environment. But I think if you had just stopped talking, I can have another cup of coffee and not have to worry about the carbon dioxide. So, give me your thoughts on that. We've also got one more. We've got a UK data watchdogs. This is talking about the use of biometrics and in US cloud services, specifically for identity. So, what they're finding out is that they've got a back end arrangement, it's not really surprising, with the United States government. It's called the US Cloud Act. And so basically what this is this allows them access via the law enforcement so that they can put, quote unquote, they're calling it appropriate protections. So this is all for your safety, of course, that they can look at your data and have access to it. So we know this is coming down the line. Just wanted to bring this up. So with this, my dear friends, I would like to wish you a green day, just a wonderful day in general. Thank you very kindly for being here. Thank you, Shannon, again for bringing that up to me. And then also a good morning to Jules and Stephanie and Lance. And until I see you again, my friends, stay free.